I'm Albert from Summer Associate Hub, and this is Practice in Point One, where we talk to big law attorneys all about their practice in under 6 minutes, also known as Point One billable hours. All right, so let's start off. Tell us your name, your title, your practice area, and where you work.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Burney. I'm a partner in the San Francisco office of Allen Matkins. I'm the chair of the San Francisco Real Estate Practice Group and have been here for a little over 13 years now, lateral from another firm, and it's been a great run so far.
Fantastic. All right, so let's start off. Take us through a typical real estate transaction that you would work on from beginning to end.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with kind of what's current on my desk right now. I have a number of purchase and sale transactions that I'm working on, representing both the buyer and seller on different transactions. So typically, the deal comes in, we get a letter of intent from our client that outlines the material business terms of the purchase and sale transaction. Sometimes we negotiate those terms with our client. Other terms, the letter of intent, or what you'll hear referred to as an LOI, is presented to us as already signed and agreed upon. From there, we'll prepare up the purchase agreement. If we're the seller, typically the sellers usually prepare those sorts of documents. If we're the buyer, we'll mark up with our comments the seller's version. And then either concurrent with that process or shortly after the purchase agreement is signed, we will assist our client with their due diligence of the property. That involves reviewing title and survey documents. That might involve reviewing service contracts, really any diligence questions they may have. And then from there, it's just the normal closing process, usually 30 to 60 days after signing the agreement, and get our client over the finish line and close the sale up and on to the next one.
Fantastic. So you wake up in the morning, you go to work. What does your typical day look like?
Before I get to work, I'm usually on drop-off duty with my son. So we have about a 30-minute ride to school, drop him off, do whatever jokes we have in the car, and kind of get my game face on to work. A lot of some of my clients are on the East Coast, and so me being in San Francisco, I'm playing behind the ball sometimes in terms of that 3-hour time difference of catching up on emails and things like that. So that takes up a good chunk of my morning when I first get in. And some days there's fire drills to put out, deals that are either on an accelerated timeline or blowing up. And so it's a bit of a mismatch of what to expect, but it usually keeps it fresh and exciting.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. So it's always helpful for law students to know, what do the associates on your team do?
Yeah, so it really depends on what the associates on our team do. If you're a more junior associate, I'd say you're tasked with more of the diligence related items, title and survey matters, reviewing leases, abstracts, and then really kind of coordinating the closing process. The closing process itself can be pretty hectic. Lots of emails flying around that day dealing with the title company and our client. And then as you make your way up the ranks in the associate level, you're going to be doing a lot more drafting, a lot more negotiating with the counterparties and with our client. And so it's part of, kind of where you are in your career and where that sort of trust level is with the partner you're working with and the client to dictate how much responsibility you're going to have. But we at our firm tend to staff our deals fairly lean, one partner, one associate, and maybe one paralegal. So you're getting a ton of responsibility here at a fairly early stage in your career.
No, that's fantastic. So my favorite question, what is the coolest deal that you've worked on?
Coolest is relative, but I'd say the coolest deal that we've worked on, that was about 2 years ago. We closed a 60 some odd property acquisition out of bankruptcy on a deal here in Northern California. Because it was a bankruptcy related matter, we had bankruptcy counsel, we had obviously the real estate team, we had corporate counsel to deal with the formation and things like that. It was pretty complex. The whole process took about 5 or 6 months. The amount of documentation is still mind-boggling that we got through, but it was a really cool transaction in that it wasn't just a vanilla real estate purchase sale context. You had to really kind of think about the twists and turns with the bankruptcy court approval and things like that. But ultimately, it was a real estate deal, and so our clients were able to close and are operating the properties now.
It's always helpful for 1L students to know why attorneys chose their practice area as they're thinking about why they might want to go into certain practices. So when you were a student, why did you choose to be a real estate lawyer?
Yeah, so I like many of you will, Had a rotation at my summer law firm where I rotated between the litigation department for a couple of weeks, the real estate group, the corporate group, to get a little bit of taste of everything. And kind of right before that, during my last semester of 1L, I took a negotiations class. And it just really resonated with me, sort of the drafting aspect of not just real estate, but transactional practice generally. I knew myself, personality wise, just litigation probably wasn't where I thought I would excel. And so really the negotiation and the drafting and the deal making aspect of, as it turns out, real estate just really resonated with me. I thought it was also cool to kind of be driving down the street and you see a building, like, oh, I worked on that transaction. So my wife is tired of hearing me say that at this point, but at least early on, it was kind of cool to kind of see your work in a tangible aspect. So
Awesome. Fantastic insights. Thank you for your time, Anthony Burney. I really appreciate it.
take it easy.